Hello, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to Confusion to Wisdom, starring Ardeshir Mehta, who's a life coach, has several years' experience, and very good at what he does. So I've selected several questions that I thought would be fun and interesting. These are questions that people asked Ardeshir, and I picked them out, and we're going to talk about it. First question, which I thought was the oddest one, maybe. Which one is more scary, radical feminism or radical Islam?
I'm not sure that either of them are really scary, but I wonder what I wrote in my actual answer. I've totally forgotten.
You said neither. It's radical atheism. That was your answer.
Oh, yes, of course. Because lately I've been answering questions on Yahoo as well, and a lot of people there seem to be like really strong atheists. So I'm not exactly sure why I wrote that, but I think that was just really tongue-in-cheek.
You might have been kind of tongue-in-cheek, yeah.
Tongue-in-cheek there. I mean, I really don't care whether people are atheists or not.
I would respond by saying radical feminism neither advocates nor condones the murder of any group or community of peoples, whereas radical Islam murders homosexuals as an example. So I'm inclined to think radical Islam would be scarier than radical feminism, because radical Islamists actually kill people. They even kill people who aren't of their particular sect of Islam. So Shias murder Sunnis murder Shias, Wahhabis are killing.
But let me add that this is just going on by people within their own little community. You know, they're not really doing much that I need to be scared about. For example, I don't get scared about Muslims. I mean, I meet Muslims all the time.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Muslim people. The question specifically is which one is more scary, radical feminism or radical Islam? I make a distinction between Islam and actual Muslim people. I mean, I encounter Muslim people all the time that don't scare me.
Exactly. And I don't get scared unless it is embraced by people. So it's
I assume they're asking about two different ideologies and which
It's just a matter of tongue-in-cheek in that occasion. I didn't think of anything really serious to say.
No, I thought it was a tongue-in-cheek answer. But anyway, that's okay. Who knows the mindset of the person who asked it? I interpreted it as asking about two different ideologies. And it's very important to make that distinction. And I certainly make the distinction between, I mean, obviously ideology gets inhabited by bodies. You know, people don't have ideas. Ideas have people.
Which is not embodied by a person is totally harmless. There's no problem about that.
So we'll go to the next question. That was kind of a fun question, actually. I thought that was kind of the oddest, funniest one. But yeah, I interpreted that as someone asking about ideologies, which is a little bit of a different flavor than people generally ask, because most times when people want advice, they're actually asking about people more than ideologies. But anyway, is it normal to be cautious of other girls around my boyfriend, specifically my good friends? I trust my boyfriend with my life, but I have started to not trust all my good friends when they are around him. Is this a sign that I am in love?
It's a sign that she is insecure, that she feels that the boyfriend will leave her for the others. It's because she doesn't have the self-confidence to think that her boyfriend will stick around. It's not a sign that she is in love. It's a sign that she wants him to be in love with her rather than she being in love with him. You see, the first thing is, when you're in love, that is to say, when you love someone else, you don't care what they do. In fact, you're happy for them no matter what they do. You're not asking for love back. People who think that they're in love seem to think that if they love someone, they should be loved back. But love is not a business transaction where you give the love and somebody gives you equal love back. That's a contract. That's not love. Love is a gift. You give it because you like them. You don't want anything from them. You want to love them. That is what being in love truly means. It doesn't mean that you want something from them or some behavior from them that satisfies you. If you want that, then that just indicates that you're insecure, that you don't feel that they will love you, and that you need their love, and that you're desperate for their love. That's not love. That's desperation. That's insecurity.
It's absolutely got nothing to do with love.
No.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with love or being in love. Being in love is a sign of happiness. When you're really in love, you feel like you're on top of the world.
And judging, looking at this question, I'm wondering, how young is this person? I hope they're not having sex yet, because
maybe.
I don't think you're ready, honestly. I don't think you're ready to have sex with this person. Or if you are having sex, I hope you're having a lot of conversations. For example, and this is a mistake people make, they don't talk about sex. You should talk about sex before you have sex with somebody. The issue is not your friends and not other girls, because you can't block every female. There's 3.5 billion females on the planet.
There are billions of them.
You can't shield your boyfriend from all of them. It's between you and your boyfriend. So if you and your boyfriend, first of all, you got to sit down. Do you want a sexually exclusive or exclusive relationship? He's not going to kiss other girls. I don't know what stage you're at. Maybe you're just at kissing and holding hands. But whatever stage you're at, you need to sit down and have that conversation with your boy, and figure out, are you just dating each other, or can you see other people? And whatever kind of relationship you have, he shouldn't be, even if your female friends are throwing themselves at him, he shouldn't be like romancing with them, because that's kind of uncool. If you guys want to have an open, if you guys want to date other people, don't date each other's friends.
I don't agree with that. You start to make someone else behave in a way that you like, you've lost that person.
No, it's not about that, Ardeshir. It's just that I question if for example, sometimes even when you have an open relationship, there kind of needs to be some ground rules, because if there isn't, it can get really messy. And I don't know if she has the maturity. This is what I'm worried about.
I'll tell you what the ground rules should be. You should be responsible for your own happiness and not make the other one responsible for yours, and not be responsible for theirs.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that.
So that no matter what they do, you feel on top of the world.
Yeah, your boyfriend can't make you happy. You're the only one who can make yourself happy.
The only person who can make you happy is yourself, Molly. Nobody else can.
Yeah.
And therefore, neither can you make them happy by behaving in one or another particular way. You behave exactly the way you want to behave, and let them behave exactly the way they want to behave. To say that they should fit certain rules of behavior is silly, because that will destroy your relationship.
I'm a bit worried about her. I'm a bit worried about her because this seems to be something that's growing in intensity. I'm kind of getting the feeling that she's getting more, as time passes, she's getting more and more uncomfortable with her female friends being around him. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. And I hope, if she's watching this, if you're watching this video and you ask this question, I really hope you're doing things that you like. I hope you're spending time doing stuff that interests you and your hobbies and stuff, because I just don't think you're ready to wrap your life around a boy. I don't know if that's a good idea for you, but whatever you decide, I hope you'll be happy. But it's between you and your boy. It's nothing to do with your girlfriends.
No,
it's you and your boy that have to figure out what kind of relationship do you want, and have that discussion.
No, it's between you and yourself. It's got nothing to do even with him. It's not between her and her boyfriend. It is between her and herself.
But don't you think that there should at least be a conversation between the girl and the boy about what kind of
necessarily.
romance do we want?
Not
Are we going to date other people? You don't think that conversation should happen?
That will deteriorate the relationship. That won't destroy it, but it will deteriorate it.
That's an interesting take you have on it. So
Oh,
you
let's
think
get
they shouldn't even bother talking about it then? They should
They
just...
don't need to
You're
bother
each
talking
autonomous
about it.
individuals.
Let me tell you the...
I mean, it's highly unlikely that you're going to end up marrying this boy. Chances are
It
it's
doesn't
the first of
matter.
many.
It
I
doesn't
don't know.
matter. Let me explain what your feeling of love towards anyone else should be. It should be exactly like your feeling of love towards your own child, your own baby. You don't expect the baby to love you back, do you? You love them because you want to love them. You don't want them to love you. That's exactly the kind of relationship you need with everybody.
Well, I don't think you should, make a scale and measure things, but I mean, there are some people that can suck the oxygen out of a room.
Babies can't. Babies can't.
No,
Babies don't suck
obviously infants have high needs, and they're limited in their interaction and ability
Needs are
to
different,
recharge your batteries. But
They're not demanding things of you. They need their things. Once their needs are met, they're no longer demanding anything
exactly, that's If they're a contented baby, that's very true.
The contented baby has no demands on you. Absolutely none. And you have to be like that. You have to be like that towards everyone else and treat everyone else like that. That you consider them their babies. Let them behave whatever way they want, but you love them nevertheless.
It's an interesting thought that you have, and I mean, there's a lot of permutations for the kinds of relationships you can have, and I guess it just depends on what a person wants in life.
Even if they want, no matter what they want, they have no control over anyone else.
Well, obviously, in a basic sense, yes, you want to go around with the idea that I'm the only one who can make me happy.
Yes.
I'm the only person in this world that I can control.
Yes.
And that you want to put that in your mind because that's what gives you the most power. That's what gives you the most ability to overcome disappointments, to navigate the strangeness of human existence and interaction.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with other people. It has only something to do with yourself. Your relationship with you is your primary relationship. And everything else will fit into it.
Well, we can have organizing principles, but when it comes to things like raising children and stuff, obviously parents have to be talking to each other and agreeing on things to raise a family.
Again, no. You leave the other parent to raise their children whichever way they want. And in fact, best thing is not to raise the children because children are wiser than you are.
No, but I mean, you have to cook food for a toddler. You have to cook food for a toddler. They're not capable of cooking their food. So, obviously, there's caretaking involved.
You don't have to, Molly. You don't have to. You should do it because you want to do it. And when you don't want to do it, don't do it.
I can see why people find you very interesting, Ardeshir. I think you have very interesting ideas.
It works. This philosophy works. And it's not just me that's saying this. I can quote you hundreds of people, wise people considered wise by lots of other people who say the same thing. I've given you links to the Sudbury School. I've given you links to the Summerhill School.
Well, how much would it be fun if you and I were flying in formation? It would make for a really boring show. So we got to have different perspectives, right? What if we're singing the same tune? Then it's silly to have two of us talking, right? Might as well do a solo act, right? Because yes, you've given me, and you have actually influenced my thinking profoundly over the years. You really have changed my thinking in a lot of ways, particularly in view of the punishment model, which actually doesn't work. And in terms of education, that's somewhat changed too. So
I may not have given you enough, though, because to me, education has to be from the child to the adult. It's the adults who are idiots. The child is wise.
I like the Finnish system of education, because those children stack up favorably against any kids from anywhere in the world in terms of academics. They stack up the same as any kids from any good school anywhere in the world, and their education system is amazing.
It doesn't even matter academically. What matters is wisdom.
No, but I'm just saying, even though they're only in school for 3 hours out of the day, and most of that time they're doing fun stuff that they like.
Yeah, I know.
And learning on the fly, they still academically perform really well. So obviously the Finns are doing it right.
It's unimportant. What? In fact, Neil, the founder of Summerhill, once wrote an entire book which was entitled "Hearts, Not Heads in the School." What counts is their heart, not their brains, not their intelligence. Wisdom comes from your heart.
I think there is a lot to say about that, yeah. Because when you homeschool a child, let's say, it only takes you 90 minutes to get through the academics. So the rest of the time should be the child using whatever they've learned to pursue what makes them happy. They're building something, they're learning music, they're singing songs, they're climbing on stuff, they're manipulating objects, using the stuff they've learned. They only need, it's 90 minutes a day, and they know that's plenty of time for academics.
I would say not even those 90 minutes are important, because after all, they would not remember any of that when they grow up. It's a 90 minutes waste.
No, they retain enough that they can go forward in life and pursue whatever they want to do.
They can do that in any case. They can do that in any case.
Because one of my sisters-in-laws, she was only schooled 90 minutes a day. That was it. And then the rest of the time, they went to museums, they did baking, they did mother-daughter activities, fun stuff all day. She'd be playing with her friends. It was only 90 minutes a day and then the rest of the time was, museums and being outside, exploring nature. So yeah,
I don't know if I spoke this on another video of ours, but one of the things that I remember one of my professors at university telling us, he told the whole class. He said, "What I tell you, you will forget. What I show you, you may even remember. But it's only what you do that will make you learn."
That's true. That's why the Finnish model is so successful. Okay. All right, here's a fun one, which might have been a crank question, but it's a fun question anyway, so I put it in. What is the best way to react when my 17-year-old daughter tells me she's pregnant?
Oh, you should be happy about it. She's bringing a life into the world. I mean, why can't you be so happy? This is the most wonderful thing that she could give to you. You become a grandparent. And then you raise the kid. You help raise the kid. You get to be like a second mother all over again, or a father. This is a wonderful thing to happen. You should be happy. Absolutely no reason to be unhappy about this. This is how they used to do it on the kibbutz. On the kibbutz, a parent was never economically penalized if they got pregnant. There was a girl on the first kibbutz I stayed at where she was in love with a guy who did not want to be a member of the kibbutz, but they wanted a child together, so they had a child together. And the kibbutz raised the child, and they were all happy. And he would go off and do things on his own once in a while and come back and be with the mother of his child, and it was absolutely wonderful. They were quite young. I think she was maybe in her early 20s, and he was probably around the same age.
One hopes that parents will not react by throwing the kid out. That would be a huge tragedy. In many families, at first people might be surprised, because often the 17-year-old girl is surprised too. She didn't plan on it.
It can be a surprise, but it should be a nice surprise, like a birthday
surprise.
But
my only thing that I would add is, if the girl doesn't talk about the dad, don't push her, because you don't know until
it's got nothing to do
until the 17-year-old has maybe decided how much they want to reveal. You don't know how she got pregnant, so I would say, How is the 17-year-old acting? If she seems happy, celebrate. But what, irregardless of how the 17-year-old reacts, reassure that you love her. And yeah, new life is a miracle. So I guess
you're bringing a new life into the world. What is there not to like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the 17-year-old is going to need to be asked, what do they want? What are they hoping for? But yeah, I like your attitude, actually.
I mean, the parents should be extraordinarily happy.
And I've seen families where the teenager has an unexpected pregnancy or whatever, and you know what? They all rallied around her, and they were totally supportive, and so it can work. It might be unexpected, but it can work.
It can not only work; it can work out extraordinarily well, because now you get to raise that child probably well into adulthood, because it's early. You're not an old person. Because your own child was only 17, so you can't be very old at that point. And therefore you get to raise their child well into adulthood. Now, I may not be able to see my grandson grow into adulthood. I mean, I'm hoping I will, but maybe not. Because I'm old and my grandson was born only last year.
No. Modern medicine is a marvel. Who knows what'll happen, eh?
Who knows? Maybe I can reach my goal of 120.
Why does wealth and power accumulate at the top with people of relatively poor moral standing in the current capitalist system?
This is nonsense. They are not poor moral standing. They contribute mightily to society. Steve Jobs has contributed literally billions of iPhones. Okay? They wouldn't even exist without him. Nor would any other smartphone exist without him. He has contributed mightily to society. Show me a single doctor, lawyer, or any other middle-class person who has contributed that much. And he's only counting the iPhones. Forget the rest of the stuff he's contributed. Elon Musk has contributed so much to humanity that he might even take humans to Mars and set up a colony there. And he's stopping the climate change due to the burning of fossil fuels. I mean, come on. These people have contributed hugely to society. They may be rich, but the amount of contribution they have contributed to society, way, way greater than what they've gathered from it. Jobs only got $1 a year out of his being CEO of Apple. He got rich by just having shares in Apple, and Apple wouldn't have gotten rich without his having invented the iPhone to begin with.
I think the thing with corporations, because I think I kind of understand what they're asking, and there are incredibly wealthy people that want to give back and make life better, but it's not.
Forget the giving back.
You're not. Let me talk. Because I know what this person's asking, Ardeshir.
What?
And I'm trying to get at what I think they might be asking. Corporations in and of themselves are inherently amoral. A corporation in and of itself.
That's not the point. Did they contribute or not?
Let me finish.
Okay.
Because that's separate from what that company is contributing to society. So you can have a pharmaceutical company that's saving people's lives as a consequence of the drugs that they're producing.
Right.
But it could also be extraordinarily immoral and also letting people die. So
it doesn't matter.
Let me get out what I'm trying to say. Corporations by their nature are amoral. In the capitalist society, you have a company. The function of the company is to make profit for investors. That's the function of the company. Now, you're hiring somebody. Their job is to make money for the investors. It's immaterial whether or not that person has good morals. So yes, you're going to have billionaires who happen to be moral people that own a company. They were successful. They built up a huge corporation, and they also want to do good things. But the company in and of itself, as an entity, is only as moral as the person in charge. The company itself isn't making anybody moral. And I think that's what they were trying to ask.
I don't think so, because they're asking about actual rich people, not rich corporations. They're asking about rich people.
Well, I think they're asking about rich people because they're seeing people who ask questions like, well, why would these government people get a loan during the government shutdown when they weren't getting any money? They were saying, why are they getting handouts? Can't they get a loan? Like, there seem to be... People are...
It's got nothing to do with... This is not relevant. Anyway. It's not relevant to the question being asked. You have to...
Maybe you and I understand different what the question is.
You have to balance what the corporation, even ExxonMobil, for example, has done to benefit people, and balance that against all the evil things that they've done. And even ExxonMobil comes out way ahead in the benefits game. Yes, they have contributed to the greenhouse gases, but without ExxonMobil, gas prices might have been even higher than they are now. And people would have found it difficult to get around. Don't people think about these things? Balance the two sides, the benefits against the bad stuff.
It obviously can be a very complicated question. I think, like, I know it helped me understand, for example, a corporation in the American legal system, and probably in Canada too, I'm not sure, but definitely in the United States, a corporation can be legally represented in a court of law. But a corporation, even though legally it's a person, it has no morality. It's just amoral. It has no value system other than the corporation is there to give the investors money. And depending on how the pay scales go, you can have someone who...
So what? The sun is also immoral.
Okay, so...
No morality in it, but without the sun you wouldn't even live.
That's very true.
So what does it matter that they are immoral?
Because this person is trying to understand, well, why does it seem like, or sometimes feel like, that the wealthiest, most privileged people seem to not have much morality? Because the person who's hired to make money for a company is not hired because they're a good person. They're hired because they know how to make money for the company.
Well, exactly.
Basically.
Exactly. But I'm saying...
That doesn't say they're not making a benefit, but the person was asking about the morality of people who have the most power and privilege.
But how is it worded? The wording seems to be... You have to read it back.
Why does wealth and power accumulate at the top with people of relatively poor moral standing in the current capitalist system?
Yeah, now, relative compared to whom? Everybody else is also equally immoral. In fact, you just pointed out the person who is hired by the same company is not asked to be moral. He's just asked to be efficient.
I'm not into moral relativism. I actually think there are some people that are more moral than others, but that's the point that you and I will disagree on, I guess.
It even doesn't matter if I were to agree with you, because supposing they are, people at the top are no different than average people. Some of them are moral, some of them are not.
Here's another question. Are bullies more likely to have parents who are absent, too busy to raise their kids, compared to those who know that it's not okay to treat people like that? In the past, studies have revealed that bullying is linked to home life.
Yeah, I'm not... in some ways it is. See, my view of bullies is bullies are not bad. They are sad. And because they are sad, they try to get mad, because after all, it feels better to be mad than to be sad. And
that's probably true.
And that is...
For some it accounts for some bullies, yeah.
Their actions to appear bad. And the solution to sadness is gladness. Just make them glad and they won't be mad. And they won't be sad. And they won't be bad. It's a very simple equation.
The bullies that are a bully as a consequence of some profound stress going on in their life.
Exactly.
After school programs that cater to something they can feel passionate about and feel a sense of accomplishment really does reduce the bullying. It really does significantly reduce the bullying.
Do not get mad and they don't get sad. and therefore they don't get bad. It's very simple.
Okay. Why do people want to suppress other people's free speech? Whatever happened to the ideal that I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend your right to say it?
Yeah, I remember this question. I think fewer and fewer people believe this. I mean, it is so silly these days that people want to put limits on free speech. Even lawyers, for God's sake, they make this stupid argument that you can't shout fire in a crowded theater. For God's sakes, if you didn't shout fire in a crowded theater and there was a fire, everybody would die.
No, obviously, Ardeshir, the scenario is there is no fire and someone screams fire and people get trampled and die.
Let us discuss that. If they scream fire and people die because they can't find the exit, then it's the theater to blame, because if there were a fire, people would die, not from the fire.
I mean, I think that the point of it is not the technicalities of yelling, of being in the theater. The point of it is what I don't recall who wrote John Stuart Mill that wrote about free speech. I don't recall who wrote it, but the concept they were trying to get at was free speech doesn't mean the freedom to yell something that will cause huge harm and death. So forget the theater, forget that example.
Even if you were to say that were true, I'd say there is no such situation. Because it is not the person who yells that causes the harm and death.
We're not arguing whether or not that situation exists. What we're talking about is the concept of causing huge harm and or death. Is it okay to utter speech that would do that?
And I am saying there is no such speech.
I know, you're saying there's no such speech, but that's not what the person argued about when he wrote his book. He was saying
I don't care.
Free speech does not include the right to utter words that will cause grievous harm and death gratuitously.
I'm just saying, I don't believe that there should be any limits on free speech, because it has nothing to do with you who's speaking. It has everything to do with those who interpret what you have said.
But irregardless of all that, in every generation there's limits on free speech. I know people...
And that is what I'm against.
People feel like today we don't have free speech, and they think 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was free speech. And actually that's not true.
That is not the point. The point is, was it...
No, but I mean, I've had conversations with my mother and grandmother before her. Believe me, there's never a generation where there's free speech.
I don't care.
Every generation has things they're not allowed to utter. That is not acceptable to talk about.
I don't care what the history shows. I'm saying just because it's never been in the past doesn't mean it should not be now.
Oh no, I think there is. I think
we should have completely free speech. It does not matter.
I mean, when I was a child, I would be shouted down for asking questions about mothers and childcare. I would get shouted down for that. Today, people are shouted down and silenced for saying biological reality. But every generation, there's things you're allowed to talk about and things you're not allowed to talk about.
I know that, and I'm saying that should
because I have memories of my childhood where literally people were screaming and yelling me down. I was not allowed to articulate questions about childcare and working mothers. I was literally not allowed to articulate it as a child. And today, I'm not allowed to articulate biological reality on Twitter. So
what does it matter? The point is not that. The point is, should it be allowed or not? And I'm saying it should. Everything should be allowed.
Yeah.
Every kind of expression should be allowed.
So you're you're a radical free speech enthusiast.
I am saying free speech is not free unless you make it completely free. Otherwise.
But specifically to answer the question, why do people want to suppress other people's free speech? That part of the question, typically, if you want to make a generality across different societies and countries, the idea is the elites want to control the population. And one of the ways you control population is by controlling language. So there's the simplistic answer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. If you can control the language, then you maintain the power.
I think we should wrap up. It's been half an hour.
Okay. That was fun. So, okay. So that's it for today then?
That's it for today, and we should do this soon.
We should do this again soon. And so bye for now, everyone. Until next time.